We all know about Lisbon and Porto, but what about a smaller town along the water in the Silver Coast? Have you thought about that for yourself? Well, today we talk with someone who actually lives in a small town in the Silver Coast so that you can see what life would really be like.
At first it was, pretty much of a shock because it changes so much depending on the season.
So let's jump right in. Why did you choose Portugal?
There were a number of reasons. I moved here with my husband Max and our dog Kalie from Argentina. And we started looking at different countries and comparing them. And we chose Portugal because we really liked the fact that it was in mainland Europe, that has easy access to many other countries because we love traveling. So that's a big thing for us. Also, the fact that it's a very safe place to be. That's one of the main reasons why we actually moved to be somewhere. Like I feel, safe walking around and everything. Then it also has a great healthcare system as well, which we are used to having back home. So that's a big thing too.
So you moved directly from Argentina, but you had lived in other parts of the world already.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
In Canada, in New Zealand. We've been to Europe many times before, but not to Portugal. We didn't know much about Portugal before coming here, so that was a bit scary.
Okay, had you visited it all before coming, or
No,
sight
not at
unseen?
all.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
So that
pretty
is
scary.
different. Well, it's interesting. I think a lot of people are interested in Spain and Portugal, and with your Spanish, language
It would have
background,
made sense.
why did you not go to Spain? Why Portugal?
Right. Well, one of the main reasons why we came here was how easy the visa and the residency process was, because and also the ability that the government gives you to renew it, being in the same country, because some other countries let you renew it, but you have to go back home, and the process is not that easy. So we felt that it was a very easy process. In Spain, there is the exact same program is not yet enforced. I think it's they're close to.
They're still working on it,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. So this was ready to go because you've been here for a couple years now.
Well, a year, 4 months.
A year and 4 months. Okay, so almost a year and a half. So the process was already set in place for Portugal, not for Spain. So Portugal made sense.
And also it was during COVID, and some options that we thought were much better for us, because we thought that we're gonna go to Canada first, because I have family there and everything, and I love it. But the residency process was not that smooth at the time, because they were trying to give priority to the people that were inside the country already, undocumented, obviously. So
Sure.
That made sense. So that's why there was sort of a bottleneck and a long waiting time.
Okay.
So that's why we started looking at other places.
Okay, so why did you want to leave Argentina?
Well, we always wanted to continue traveling. We love to have those adventures and experiences. It's just part of who we are, It's not for everybody, really. It's just something that you want or you don't. But we just wanted to keep exploring, and home is always going to be there for us. There's nothing set in stone, so we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we wanted to take a leap and come here.
Okay, so you had never been to Portugal, but you did a lot of research. You saw things like safety, healthcare were top of your list, getting to Europe, which was nice. So
The weather.
So researching, you're up a bit Silver Coast in the north area. How did you land on Espinho? Because it's not a very common place for expats to land.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty random.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, we landed near Cascais.
Okay.
But it was a pretty remote area, and we liked the city, but the most important thing for us was to be in a city with a body of water, a river, lake, the sea, whatever it is, but somewhere that you can actually swim into.
Okay.
Not just look at. So, for example, Lisbon, Porto, all of those are beautiful, and all of them have rivers, but you can't really get in there. So,
Right.
Okay, so you wanted with the beach.
Yeah, because that's actually a big difference. Some people are okay just being able to see the water. They want to see the water, but you actually wanted to get in. Yes. Are you a swimmer, or are you just just something you enjoy?
I'm not a swimmer. I'm not a sporty person at all.
Okay.
No, I just like to be,
Get in the water, yeah. Okay, so then you were near Cascais. It was too remote, because do you have a car?
No, we don't have a car. We don't want to have a car.
Okay.
So that was the second thing. We were looking for a place that had a very good transportation system. So not just the bus. We wanted either the train or the metro. So we started looking at all of the cities that had, a lake or a river or whatever, and then that were very well connected. So that was the hard part, because most of the places that we really liked were more remote, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the lakes and such around here, you really have to have a car to get to. It's not really well
we do
connected.
not want
Maybe
that.
buses, but they're not very, commonly running, and so you have to deal with that, right?
I'm used to riding my bike as well everywhere, so yeah.
Okay, so Espinho was nice because it's not too far from Porto, which gives you the city feel, but then it's a little smaller, and it's right on the water, so you have the ocean. So how long have you been living in Espinho at this point?
A year.
A year. And how's that going?
Good. At first it was, pretty much of a shock, because it changes so much depending on the season.
Okay.
And I didn't see that coming. So right now that we're in the summer, it's gorgeous. I love the vibe. It's so chill. There's so many, bars along the coast that are open. There's music. There are a lot of people.
It's alive. It sounds very lively.
Oh, no. I love it.
Okay.
But then in the winter, though, everything closes. It's very rainy, very cloudy. No one is around. Everyone shuts their windows. It seems like no one is actually living there.
But there are still people living there?
Yeah.
Or do you think some people come only for the summer?
Well, that happens too.
Yeah.
That happens too. But it was a little bit of a shock, because back home in the winter, I don't know, it was the first time that I felt different because of the weather. It never happened to me before, so it came as a surprise. Yeah.
Okay, and what was the weather like temperature-wise? Was it gloomy? Did it rain a lot?
Exactly.
Okay, so it was a little bit of there's not a lot of people, the weather's not great, so kind of like a seasonal depression kind? Did you feel like you just were sad about?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on, but it was the first time that I felt something like that, so I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But now that I know it happens, I'm going to be ready for next year and, plan more activities and be more conscious about that.
Yeah, that's great that you're aware of that. So it wasn't so bad, especially now that we're coming out of that you feel like we have to move. We just don't like Espinho anymore. Or were you feeling that maybe a little bit?
It's such an emotional roller coaster, because we change our tune so often. Throughout the whole year, we are constantly talking, because we go on long walks with Max along the coast, and we bounce ideas of each other, and we are always thinking about the pros and cons about moving this place and the other, and it's hard to choose. But now the weather is amazing, I don't want to go.
Okay, yeah. So that's the big pro, of Espinho. The weather is amazing. Yes. It's still a little smaller, but now it's lively.
It is.
And how you want a place that's well connected without a car. So tell us about how it's connected and where you can get by public transportation.
Right. So the train station is right there, downtown Espinho. It's very good. It's the Aveiro line. So you can go to Aveiro or the other way to Porto. And depending on where you want to go in Porto, you can get the metro and the different combinations. So you can either go by with the train ticket or with the Andante card. So you can do those combinations without having to change cards and something. So
and is it pretty frequent?
Yeah. Well, I would like it to be more frequent.
Yeah.
But it's almost every hour.
Okay. So you just have to time it.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like it to be a little bit more frequent, but it's fine.
Have you had problems with the different train strikes, or it doesn't seem to affect that as much?
No, it was just one time there was a strike, and we go to Aveiro.
Okay, just change it up, yeah.
Do something fun,
Yeah.
It was, yeah, but of course, if you need to go to work or something, it's going to be annoying. But as we both work from home, that's not an issue for us.
Okay, so let's chat about that. Are you self-employed? Do you work for a company?
Yes, we're both freelancers, contractors, let's say, yeah.
Okay, so do you make your own hours, or you have to sometimes be at the mercy of other?
Right, I have a fixed full-time contract, so I have to be just regular working hours. Max is a freelancer, a true freelancer. So
Okay.
he can,
More flexibility there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you mainly just work Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Do you work for a Portuguese company, a U.S. company?
Right, American company.
American,
So
okay.
that makes a huge difference. Because when I came here as well, I started applying for jobs just to,
See what
look
was out
around
there.
and
Yeah.
see. Right. And there's such a huge difference in salary.
Okay.
It's very upsetting. I'm upset for the Portuguese, like it's like what the,
Yeah. It's
why?
low, right.
So it doesn't make much more sense to change unless you can get a pretty good deal.
Right. Yeah. But it seems better to have a remote job from a different country, U.S., U.K., any of those, and then bringing that type of salary.
Fortunately.
Because then cost of living, how is cost of living in Espinho?
Right. I think it's pretty low compared to other places, right? Compared to, Lisbon or Porto, of course. It's right there in the middle. Because at first when we were thinking about comparing cities and areas, we thought that the center Lisbon area and the Algarve was much more expensive than the north, and that's one of the reasons why we came here to the north area. We were not sure if we were gonna stay here or not, but now we decided that we are. We're staying put in at least in the northern area, and it works for us because we didn't know anything about the country and we didn't want to take a risk of going to a place that was very expensive and that we couldn't afford.
Right, yeah. So the temperature in the north doesn't scare you? Because some people are worried that the north is too cold.
It did. That's the reason why, like, maybe up to a month ago, we were still, discussing what are we going to do? Are we going to stay up north? But we really like it. The season thing again,
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting used to it, I guess.
Yeah, being aware of it, right? I think that's you touched on that, like not realizing that it existed, that it was something. So then the winter was a little more difficult, right? But then
Exactly.
now that you're aware, you know kind of how to tackle it.
That's right.
When the winter comes. And what kinds of things do you think you'll do during the winter then? Since Espinho is so sleepy, what have you thought of ideas just to get ready for it?
I have, but as you know, I love doing just manual artwork and stuff like that. Or back home, I used to make some clothes or even make shoes for myself and stuff around the house with my sewing machine and stuff like that. Or things like that. Artsy stuff.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah. All right. So Espinho, again, we were saying before, it's not a normal place for expats to land. So what's it like socially, especially at your age and the lifestyle that you're in right now?
Right. Well, it pretty much depends if you want to learn Portuguese, because in Espinho, although a lot of people do speak English, they don't normally switch, right?
Okay.
So one of the reasons why we went there actually as well was because we didn't want to go to just a closed expat community where you only speak English. Mm-hmm. We really wanted to get out there and experience the culture and getting to know people. So that's a big part of the experience. But the thing is that you really have to go out there and really try.
Yeah, yeah. Put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. Can't be embarrassed. And how are the people when you try? Do they appreciate you trying?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. There's always going to be people that look at you funny, but it doesn't matter. You're learning. The thing is that at first it was very hard for me mainly because I didn't come prepared. In Argentina, we're right next to Brazil, and usually we go on holidays, right? Because they have great weather as well. The beaches are amazing and everything. But we just go with our regular Spanish there, and we are able to understand each other and to talk pretty easily with them. Uh-huh. So foolishly, I was thinking that I could maybe do the same, mainly because I didn't have time to study Portuguese before coming here, because we did the switch from perhaps going to Canada to Portugal pretty quickly in a couple of months. Uh-huh. So I tried to enroll in Portuguese classes, but I didn't. There wasn't any room at the time. So when I was able to actually start Portuguese classes, I was already here, and I was freaking out. Yeah, it was hard.
Okay. So, I mean, you kind of touched on the massive difference between Brazilian Portuguese and European Portuguese. What did you find were like some of the biggest differences?
Well, phonetics. Phonetics is the main thing because Spanish is a syllable stress language, and Portuguese, at least from Portugal, they don't stress the words the same way, and they drop off a lot of sounds. So you're not going to hear exactly the same word as you're expecting to hear. So that's the main problem for me.
Yeah. Do you think knowing Spanish is helpful, or in the end ends up being worse?
It is very helpful with the vocabulary.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And reading, right? Like you can pick up stuff
exactly.
reading, yeah.
But with listening, I find it harder.
Okay.
But, it does help a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back to Espinho. We were talking a little bit about like socially what there is to do there. Obviously, it's right on the beach. So when the weather's good, you have the beach. What other things are there to do?
Okay. I think that the city council does an amazing job with all the activities that they plan, because they plan activities throughout the whole year. And all type of activities. So there are a lot of sports stuff going on all the time, because I don't do anything, but I like looking at it.
Yeah, it's there, it's available. Yeah.
It's just entertainment.
Okay.
And then also there are music festivals, film festivals.
Really? In Espinho? Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's
okay.
so many things going on.
Okay.
Yesterday was the city's, 50th anniversary or something, and there was a band. There were so much people.
Okay.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
So how do you find out about the activities going on there? Or do you just walk around and are there signs, or there's just like what's going on? There's a lot of people over there.
Sometimes there are signs, but it wasn't until I started following the city council Instagram that I now learn about all the stuff that's going on.
That's a good tip for anyone. Instagram, like the city council for whatever city you're in. Because sometimes I think there's so much going on in the different cities, and it's hard to know what's actually going on and when it's going on. And even sometimes finding times for things can be difficult.
Exactly. Yeah. Most of the times I couldn't actually go to some events, mainly because of my work hours.
Okay.
I work very long hours, and sometimes I just can't go. For example, with the Expats events, I love them. But sometimes, as we have to catch the train, and usually it's at 5, and I usually finish at 7. Sometimes I miss the events.
Something to consider if you're working for fixed hours for a different company outside of Portugal, that you have to alter your lifestyle. But stuff does happen late here generally. Are things open late in Espinho, or is it because it's a smaller place? No, not really. Yeah, because there's not much nightlife or anything going on. Okay.
Depending on the season. Because in the summer there are a lot of bars are still open late, so that works, but it's not like it has an amazing nightlife, or there are no clubs, let's say, to go dancing, just bars.
Okay. Is it sometimes a little boring for you?
It has been in the winter, for sure.
Okay.
It was, but now that I'm starting to getting to know the place a little bit more, to know the activities that happen throughout the year, I'm able to, to be more conscious of them and to plan better. Because sometimes, as I didn't know all the things that were happening, or the festivals and the dates, I usually missed all of it.
So someone who's considering Espinho or somewhere on the Silver Coast, or really just a smaller place, we talked about the good things here with the beach and then the different festivals, and it's livelier in the summer. What are some bad things that you just feel like people should be aware of if you're going to go to a smaller city or town in Portugal?
Well, it depends on their lifestyle, really.
Yeah.
Because again, with the language, you really need to make an effort if you are going to go to a smaller place. You have to be conscious about that, because the Portuguese don't owe us anything. Maybe they do speak another language, but they don't have to even make an effort, and it's us that have to really put ourselves out there and try to mingle with the locals. And I think that's the best experience that you can have. But that's something to be aware of. I would have liked to be more prepared in terms of language before coming here if I could. As I don't have a car and I don't want one, I don't see any problem with Espinho. I think it has a great system. But if someone goes to another smaller place that doesn't have a train or a metro, that could be a problem. So it depends.
Because Espinho is quite walkable, so you're fine. You can walk.
It's an actual grid. It's so.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
And the street name, there are no street names, there are numbers, and that is
even easier.
best for me, because I have a hard time with location.
Okay.
I get lost all the time, but now in Espinho I don't.
That's easy. Yeah, it's quite easily laid out, and then you have numbers. That's really nice.
Yeah, and also with it's not hilly like a lot of the places. For example, I brought a lot of sole shoes, and I had to put some, like the rubber thing at the soles. Stuff like that, and just you have to get used to other things.
To those things, yeah. Are there a lot of, whether expats or locals, your age in Espinho, or does it seem like it's a mix, families, retirees?
Mostly retired citizens and families.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not so much. There are some, of course, but yeah.
Not as many. Yeah, it's more of like the families with smaller kids, younger kids, and then those who are retired.
Yeah. Portugal is very family friendly. That surprised me. Yeah, it's very good.
It's nice. Yeah, yeah. Having a young daughter, yes, it's really nice. I've found. Are there any other expats that you found that live in Espinho, or have you even looked? Or?
Yeah, but mainly from Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a great restaurant as well from there, and yeah, we usually go to eat there. It's
Oh, that's nice.
A little bit of Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, that probably feels good. Just a little like a comfort thing, right?
Exactly. It's comfort.
Yeah.
That's true.
So earlier we talked about you guys were thinking of Canada, and then Portugal is kind of where you were looking at, and it was a bit of a shift. So emotionally, was that difficult? Because in your minds you're thinking Canada, and then all of a sudden now it's Portugal?
It was such an emotionally charged time for us.
Okay.
Because of a combination of a lot of things. So one was the fact that we rushed the whole process a little bit because we have to switch countries and the whole process was different. Also, being away from family and friends is very hard. Making the decision is very hard, and not a lot of people take it the right way. And sometimes you have to also deal with other people's feelings on the matter, and it gets pretty tough.
Yeah. Any advice for those who will deal with maybe family members or friends who are unhappy with them leaving?
Well, communication is key, but sometimes you can't help how people feel about it. It's just part of it. But yeah, sometimes you can hear hurtful things that they're hard, but it is what it is. You're not trying to hurt anyone. You're just trying to enhance your life.
Right. Yeah. But that's good communication, and then keeping communication once you're away from each other, because sometimes that can die off, and then that makes things worse, right?
Yeah, it's good that we can keep in touch with on the internet, so it's pretty easy. But of course, it's not the same as actually being there, for big dates or for difficult times, as well. I actually have to go back to Argentina because my father died, so it was very emotional, let's say.
Sure. He passed while you were here, or before?
Yeah, he did, but he was sick before, so I had to go back.
Okay, all right. And how easy is it for you to get back? Like, what's the flight like? Do you generally stop in Brazil or
in
U.S.?
Spain.
In Spain, okay. Yeah. So you go to Spain and then there's direct from...
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so not too bad, right?
No, it's not too bad.
Price-wise, is it kind of expensive, or does it seem to be going up? Because I know a lot of people have said in the past year or so, you really see flight prices going up within Europe, but then also to the U.S., to South America. So you've seen that
it can get pricey.
Yeah. I know, you going by yourself, or is Max going with you?
I just went by myself because it was like an emergency situation, but
okay.
we could go. And actually as we have a dog, it's not that easy.
Okay.
We found an amazing place though. It's called Pet Home.
Okay.
Where what I like about it is in Gaia. Mm-hmm. What I like about it is that they film the dogs while they're playing and everything. So you get to see the stories on Instagram and everything, and you know that your dog is fine and how
happy. Yeah, that's always a stressful thing when you have a pet. What to do because you want to travel, or if situations come up, what do you do with them? Exactly. Okay, so you found a good place in Gaia, and Gaia's not too far from you.
Yeah, and they also pick the dog up as well.
That's great.
So you don't have to think about that either. It's a great service.
Yeah.
I tried different ones, and I like this one best.
That's your favorite one. Okay, so that's good. So your dog can go there and be happy, and you can make sure, and then you can travel a little bit. Have you guys been traveling at all?
I've been traveling around a lot. And we also have a lot of friends in Spain, in London as well. So we have been traveling around quite a bit, and we really enjoy it.
Oh, good.
But the thing is that there's also a lot of idealization with migration. And while it's true that you get to travel a lot and that's good, like when we were talking about the family and the friends aspect of it, they, sometimes, at least when you come from South America, sometimes people may think that you are having like a Disney life or something like that.
Oh yeah, like
it's
it's just this amazing life. But I mean, you have to be
Right.
realistic with it.
Exactly.
Like while there are good parts, there are also bad parts too,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Has anyone come to visit you from Argentina yet? Like friends, family, or anything?
Well, now in the summer, a lot of people are coming.
It's better,
so I'm
right?
excited.
Yeah,
Yes.
better in the summer than,
Exactly,
than the
yeah.
winter when
Very
things are
excited,
lively.
yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, at Expats Everywhere, we believe that living abroad transforms life. So how has living abroad transformed your life?
Well, all people have an identity that's formed of different things like ideology and culture and language. And when you open yourself to other cultures, that identity shifts a little bit. You become more aware, open-minded, even resilient about all the changes. It's a very enriching experience. I love it.
Well, thanks so much, Jime, for talking to me today. And you guys have to check out Espinho. It's a cute little town, city right on the beach. So check out this city guide right here. Now let's get moving.